These ampacity adjustments and corrections you continue to talk about, reinforce why they're necessary, why they're important.
Well, a majority of an installation, whether it be commercial, industrial, or residential, is the wiring. That's majority of your electrical stuff is the wiring. So the temperature is really important. You don't know what's happening behind your wall. Having a conductor, smoldering behind your wall because the installer used the wrong type of insulation on the conductor for the conditions of use is a problem. So it's critical. It's critical because the conductors themselves are, again, a major part of your installation, and temperature, or ampacity as the code uses, is an important factor in maintaining a safe installation.
All right, you ready for a few questions?
Sure.
All right, let's get to a couple of questions. Question number one. If I have 6 conductors in a raceway and my ambient temperature is 40 degrees C, to calculate ampacity, do I do both corrections, then take the lowest one?
No. That's something I hadn't pointed out during the discussion, is these corrections, conditions of use, exist sequentially, or not sequentially, these conditions of use exist concurrently.
Right.
So if you have a high temperature and you have 12 conductors in a raceway, both have to be taken into account, both have to be done at the same time, and both of them end up seriously reducing the amount of ampacity that you have on your conductor.
Let's go to another one. Would the neutral conductor of a 2-wire single-phase 120-volt non-harmonic branch circuit be counted when applying the provisions of 310.15b2a? Section
310.15b5 in the 2014 electrical code has when a neutral has to be counted as a current carrying conductor. And if it's counted as a current carrying conductor, then the table for the derating has to be taken into account because that's the current carrying conductors. On a single phase 124 volt system, on a single phase 120 volt system, the neutral is carrying the balanced current. So what's going out is coming in, so that is a current carrying conductor on a single phase system.
Okay, let's go to one more. You talked before about NM cables. If 10 NM 12-2 cables with ground were run bundled or stacked traveling perpendicular through 2-inch thick floor joists, 18-inch on center for more than 24 inches, would this scenario be considered bundling? And it goes on to say, let's say that the bundling distance was 12 feet.
Yeah, well, that made it easy with the 12 feet. But section 310.15b3a is the one that addresses when you have to take conductors run together without separation into account. And that says that if it's installed in a continuous length of 24 inches without maintaining spacing between the cables, that you have to consider any of the adjustment factors for bundled cables. And additionally, 334.80 requires an adjustment factor if 2 or more NM cables are passed through the same wood frame, which we mentioned earlier, if it's fire stopped or in contact with insulation without maintaining spacing. So that has nothing to, some of that doesn't have anything to do with the 24 inches. So depending on where you are, yes, it has to be taken into account.
So let's kind of sum up our whole conversation again by reinforcing the importance of this discussion. You said off the top that when you're talking about wiring methods and materials, and when you're considering why temperature is critical to understanding, what you need to do, you pointed out these tables. And by the way, you can click around here and we have free downloads of these tables for you. Again, I don't think we can hammer this enough, Chris. It's something that people either may take for granted, or they don't go deep enough or do their homework or check a second time. The importance of it once again.
Well, as with any of the discussions that we have while we're here, the importance is using the whole code. As we showed today, that not only is Article 310 something that has temperature requirements, but 334, 380, and all the way back at 110. So you need to understand the code, you need to make sure what you're doing, and it's all important, again, because conductors are pretty much the basis of your electrical installation. So you follow the requirements. Notes to the table are requirements to the tables. So if the note says something that is a requirement, footnotes and things, informational notes in the code are not, but notes to tables are. So you need to make sure you're following. And most importantly, when it comes to these tables, you got to be in the right column and you got to be in the right row.